morning guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Maribel or Mari. I will be making videos about the things that I really care about or that I'm really passionate about, and by doing so I hope that it can help those who are interested in becoming a better person, or maybe it can spark an interest in you of wanting to know more. In today's video I will be talking about red flags, and yes, yes, red flags can be seen anywhere with anyone, your friends, your family members, in your relationships, while you're dating, your co-workers. So what is a red flag, you ask? You didn't? Okay, it's fine. This is definition from a therapist. Her name is Mason Rowntree. She says, something your partner does that indicate a lack of respect, integrity, or interest towards a relationship. I was inspired to make this video because I saw a post on Instagram by a therapist that I really admire, and she said how red flags don't always feel like red flags when they feel like home. When I saw the post, it was like an aha moment for me, like like ee-haw. Just kidding, that's not like that. When I saw the post, I felt so understood. That's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly what it felt like to me. I feel like that's like the best way to put it. So these red flags feel like home because it's a relationship you have with your primary parent figure, a sense of foundation of all the relationships you're going to have now as an adult. So what about her son, you ask? He was raised in the wild. We should look into that. So we often subconsciously recreate what is familiar, and then we tend to gravitate towards people who are similar like that. But at the same time, we are consciously trying to avoid it, so it becomes very sticky. But it's okay because there is a way out of that sticky situation. So there are some red flags that are deal breakers and that can be applied to anyone: your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your ex-wife, your sugar daddy, your mama daddy, your simp, your raw cougar. A good example would be someone being rude to the waiter. And so you see how this can be applied to anyone. And then there are red flags that are more personal, and that's up to you to determine what is a red flag and what you are willing to accept and what you are not willing to accept. Another set of red flags will be something that is worth communicating and getting curious about. So these red flags can be an invitation to get curious about, not a sign to just abruptly end things, because then unless the other person is dangerous, and I suggest, yes, you don't give them any warning like, oh, I'm gonna leave you. So sorry, I forgot to say that this video will be more towards relationships and dating, red flags, and to friendship and family members, and etc, etc, etc. You see, some red flags are worth getting curious about and worth communicating with the other person, and not a sign to just abruptly end things. I know it's very easy to just remove yourself from one person if you don't like them, which is understandable. But if you just abruptly end things without a conversation, that will be ghosting. And if you have been ghosted, like I have, then you already know how that feels like. So the time when people get ghosted, it makes them question their worth, and I've been there, trust me. But before I move on, I do want to let you guys know that if you are getting ghosted, or you have been ghosted before, that has nothing to do with you. Unless you are being an asshole, then stop being an asshole. It has nothing to do with you, but their inability to communicate, and you should just let them be, and they'll figure that on their own. So let's talk about the red flags that are worth getting curious about. Oh, I need a disclaimer. This is not an invitation to give the other person a chance to rationalize with the behavior that is unacceptable, okay? So this means that you would have to have a conversation with the other person about the red flag, and it might be uncomfortable, but if you're willing to work this out with the other person that you're just dating or you're in a relationship with, you need this conversation. So if you both, remember I said both of you guys are willing to work through this red flag, remember that real changes require hard work. So what do you need to have in this conversation exactly? Well, accept the issue and the reality of it. Take accountability, willingness, and the capacity to change. I like the word capacity. And to be able to implement the new set behavior and the skills and the tools. Real change is hard, but you cannot make the other person change. It's up to the person to want it. In the beginning, it's your job, it's your responsibility. Can be seen as homework, but it's your responsibility to explore what you are willing to accept or what you are not willing to accept, and what you want and need in a partner. So for this, I would recommend to make a chart. It's a practice that I highly recommend. You can do it however you want to. The way that I did it was to make 3 columns. One column you could title things you don't want to accept, your deal breakers. So the other 2 columns would be what you want in a partner and what you need. So to give you an example, I'm going to share some of mine. On my want, I put funny, awareness of their emotional needs and energy, and be taller than me. So in my needs, I will then put funny because I need funny. I don't need any Debbie Downers or a negative Nancy or an Optimus Prime. And I will also need them to be aware of their emotional needs, which involves being emotionally aware and working on themselves, all that good juicy stuff. So you see how I didn't include a tall into my needs because it is not a need. I really believe that in order to be able to know what you want and need in a person, in your partner, of course you need to be out there and getting some experience and seeing what you want and what you don't like. So it's very important to take a pause in between relationships and dating, because if you don't take this pause to reflect on the relationship, on what went well or what didn't work out so well, you'll miss the opportunity. You'll miss the opportunity to do better next time. You'll just go into the next relationship thinking that it will produce better results because it's a new person. You're going to just repeat what you don't elevate, hear, or address. And sometimes when we are doing this, when we reflect on what went well or what didn't go so well, we tend to just think about the other person. So if you think you did everything right in the past relationship and your partner was the only issue, if every issue was their fault, then you need to lean more into accountability. And that right there turns to a red flag, because then when someone asks you or you ask someone, how was the relationship with the last partner, and they say very negative things about the partner, then you know that this person has some trouble taking accountability. Give yourself a space to be able to make these mistakes, and forgive yourselves when you don't see the red flag in the beginning. And also forgive yourself when you see the red flag and you choose to ignore it. I've had red flags being thrown to the sky and like fireworks, and I'm just like, oh my god, that is so pretty. And so it's okay, because I needed to figure that on my own, and I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you have found yourself there a couple of times. There is a reason why you find yourself there, and when you get curious, that's a string that you are pulling. And if you keep pulling the string more, you're going to find more answers. Because I grew up with different types of abuse, it was like a whole wheel of fortune. Just kidding. I'm sorry. So because of all the abuse that I experienced as a child, it was very hard for me to see like what exactly is a red flag or what was a red flag. There was a whole selection, like, ooh, which one am I gonna get today? There was also instability, boundaries crossing, and most of the time I did not feel safe. And so all this became very normal to me. So if I was told don't ignore the red flags, I would have understood hitting, but the others, I wouldn't know really. So what I would tell my younger self would be to learn what a healthy relating is, what a secure relationship looks like, so I could have a framework of what a healthy relationship looks like. I don't know everything. I am still learning today. So I'm going to be wrapping it up here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you stick that long, thank you. I appreciate that. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on red flags and your experiences with red flags if you're okay with sharing. I want to be able to provide a safe environment. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Please take care of yourself and I'll take care of me. It's a done deal. If you break it, I will come and steal all your okay? Oh, yeah.